Zombie games have always been a popular choice among gamers, providing a dose of adrenaline and suspense that keeps players glued to the screen. With continuous advancements in gaming technology, we can expect even more impressive graphics, enhanced gameplay, and great narratives. So in today's video, I bring you 30 upcoming zombie games. Without wasting time, let's start with Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, announced a few days ago. This new version of the classic Xbox 360 game is being developed in the RE engine, the same one used in the current games of the Resident Evil series, and will feature new graphics, 4K resolution, and 60 FPS performance. The visuals have been revamped, now featuring new character models, as well as real-time lighting and shadow effects. In terms of content, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster offers a wide variety of language options, with 9 languages available. The digital deluxe version includes 17 music tracks and 17 costumes, from iconic Resident Evil characters to Mega Man. Vorax is an adventure set on a Mediterranean island that was once peaceful, but is now devastated by a deadly pathogen. After a failed mission and a forced landing, you must survive with minimal resources. In the game, players will have to create tools, weapons, and shelters, as well as fortify buildings to protect themselves from the lurking horrors. Exploring diverse landscapes, facing unique adversaries, and uncovering the island's dark secrets are central elements of the experience. Using a military-grade tactical helmet, you will need to manage realistic survival mechanics and navigate the island using various vehicles. Field of the Dead is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi horror game developed by Mortality Core Games Inc. for PC. In this game, you face undead and mutants with space weapons. You can evolve, fight bosses, acquire rare equipment, and explore infested areas to uncover the secrets of the apocalypse. The game supports single-player and multiplayer modes for up to 4 players. In the story, a thick fog hangs over a ruined planet, and the player wakes up in a city besieged by endless undead. They soon meet a friendly survivor named Alfonso, who helps the player become strong enough to attempt to cross the dangerous field towards a giant gate. Tactical Bandits is a hardcore arcade-style action game set in a post-apocalyptic world. In it, you take on the role of a fearless bandit seeking survival and glory. In the story, the world is in ruins and civilization is on the brink of collapse. You must navigate this desolate landscape, exploring abandoned houses, empty stores, and deteriorated roads. The goal is to reach the elusive last settlement, collecting weapons and fuel cans while avoiding deadly zombies. Battle of Rebels is a first- and third-person shooter game where you face waves of zombies. The story takes place in a world where aliens have planted human cloning machines in urban areas, corrupting human DNA and turning people into zombies. Your mission is to deactivate these machines and defeat the alien boss to obtain the access key. The game offers a single-player mode with 5 levels, as well as cross-platform multiplayer where you can battle in 2x2 arenas. You can also drive tanks, control drones, and choose from a vast arsenal of weapons. Death Nomad is a roguelike survival game with procedurally generated environments. In it, you will find yourself immersed in a hostile environment infested with zombies and contamination, with dynamic and increasing difficulty. As a survivor, you will have to refine your survival strategies by continuously traveling through procedurally generated scenarios to escape the contamination, which increases over time, decreasing your chances of survival. In the game, you can explore different scenarios, face zombies to loot resources, and collect materials from the environment to create essential items on your journey. If you enjoy survival challenges and zombies, Death Nomad can be a great choice. No More Room in Hell 2 was announced during the Summer Game Fest 2024 event. It is the sequel to the popular survival FPS from Torn Banner Studios. In this cooperative multiplayer game with permanent death, up to 8 players need to survive, both on their own and as a group, against hordes of zombies that have taken over the world. At the beginning of the game, players are placed in the roles of emergency responders, each in a remote location on the map, and must first survive alone in a chaotic state against the undead until they find each other. The game features a proximity voice chat system so that users can meet and plan their steps, but only when they are close in the game. Beyond Hanwell is an action-adventure game set in the deepest parts of London. The game's description says, "Step into Hanwell and discover a world beyond it. Explore Westminster and uncover the truth about the enigmatic stranger known as the Director. Fight with whatever you can find or use the environment to eliminate anomalies." The game is tense, detailed, and atmospheric. You can explore, search for items, and survive. Interact with the world in various ways, using the environment to defeat enemies or open new paths to discover. Additionally, there is a dual combat system and environmental blocks. The game is currently in early access on Steam and is playable from start to finish, with a main questline and dozens of locations and side objectives. So if you enjoy this theme, it's worth playing and testing. The release date is August 25. Blight Survival is a new independent action, survival, and horror game with roguelite elements from a small developer called Henier Studio, composed of 2 developers. The game is set in a land devastated by a plague called Blight, which turns people into killer creatures. In addition to the familiarity in the theme, the game offers gameplay similar to The Last of Us, but set in the medieval era and without firearms. The world of Blight Survival presents an alternative version of the 14th century, amidst a land without an owner situated between 2 warring states. Remains of soldiers left behind seem to have accelerated the development of a new plague or curse, Blight, which makes the dead rise and attack the living, similar to clickers from The Last of Us. Retrieval is a cinematic horror and action-adventure game. The plot follows the experiences of Hana Loche, commander of a research team on a planet 18.6 billion miles from Earth. Hana Loche accidentally falls into a secret location where she will discover all the horrors the base hides. With that in mind, there are chances that the game will be similar to the recently released Fort Solis. So far, the only confirmed platform is the PlayStation 5. Developed by 333 Studio, Retrieval seems to be the first project of the small team, and we will have to wait and see how this unfolds, as it won't arrive anytime soon. But so far, what has been presented seems to be a very interesting project to follow from the beginning.
All this to start our new life.
Death Raid is a third-person hack-and-slash action game developed by 5Convert. In it, you will face a powerful army of zombies in a primitive society. The game offers pure gameplay, without complex equipment systems, allowing you to focus on controls and experience. You will hone your adaptation skills on the battlefield and become a true combat master. In this dangerous and challenging world, only the bravest survive. Voin is a first-person hack-and-slash action game being developed by Nikita Sozidar and published by TinyBuild. Currently, the title is still in development with a demo available for PC. The game combines old-school pixelated art styles and modern art styles, fast-paced dynamic gameplay, exceptional sound design, and a variety of modern game development technologies. Voin follows the old pattern, putting the player as an elemental warrior created to combat a spreading plague that consumes everything it touches. In the role of this warrior, we will venture into open maps full of enemies and treasures with lots of action and frantic combat. Evil Awaits is an action and survival horror game developed by Chai Games. In the story, after receiving a distress call about an explosion, a detective travels to the remote Archdale Castle in search of answers, but ends up getting trapped. Your mission is to find out what happened. You will find notes, solve puzzles, and use keys to progress through scary atmospheric environments. The game features a variety of terrifying environments, from open roads in a foggy forest to narrow corridors of a sinister castle. You will use a variety of firearms, special maneuvers, and melee attacks to face the threats. The control system has been modernized, allowing freedom of camera movement and switching between third and first-person views. Aftermath is a new psychological suspense and survival game. The game will follow the story of Charlie Gray, a talented European engineer and astronaut who encounters something unexpected. When trying to return to Earth, something goes wrong, and the re-entry experience into the planet's atmosphere is not exactly the best. Injured and traumatized, Charlie realizes that something is very wrong with the planet and must now try to survive while searching for the only thing that matters, her daughter Sammy. In Aftermath, players will need to scour the surroundings in a familiar European city, using urban resources to their advantage. Stealth will be necessary to stay safe while exploring the European streets in search of ways to deal with a strange threat.
Don't need no space, coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane, jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
If you enjoy turn-based combat similar to XCOM, have an affinity for zombie themes, and like survival elements, whether from games of the genre or even elements like Resident Evil, Dead Season seems very promising. The game will have a story mode with 16 different missions. Although the main goal is to survive and progress and advance in the plot, you can also explore the environments for resources, weapons, and ways to ensure a stronger arsenal. Apparently, the game events will follow their own narrative, more well-developed throughout its various stages and instructional scenes. Surviving the zombie apocalypse in a city full of enemies is the main objective. For this, the game takes a lighter approach to entertain the audience through various customization, survival, and combat mechanics. Dead Season promises a refreshing experience for zombie genre fans, providing intuitive and satisfying turn-based battle gameplay. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is a completely new game that marks director John Carpenter's first involvement with games. He is famous for directing films like Halloween, Escape from New York, and The Thing, among many other successful genres such as suspense, horror, action, and police. According to the developer, the title mixes various elements from action and horror movies of the 1980s and will have intense combat moments against hordes of creatures. This will be done by squads in vehicles or on foot, with a huge arsenal of firearms, grenades, special abilities, and even objects like katana swords available. The story takes place in the near future, with humanity collapsing after attempting to use the Earth's core as an energy source. As a result, an ancient god is awakened and begins to destroy the planet, only able to be stopped by a highly unqualified group of mercenaries, the so-called Toxic Commandos that give the game its name. If you are a fan of first-person shooter games and also enjoy experiences with zombies, it's worth keeping an eye on the promising Project Zed Beyond Order. With first-person gameplay, the title focuses on equipment customizations and hordes of creatures for players to shoot down. It is worth noting that the game will also feature a good series of playable characters, and all will have unique characteristics, which should make the gameplay very diverse. Additionally, it will be possible to customize shelters and weapons, aiming to have more resources to face the threats. The developers have confirmed that the characters will have unique story arcs, meaning we will have the chance to carry out missions that will determine the future of each combatant. State of Decay 3 will be an open-world survival game set years after a zombie apocalypse nearly exterminated humanity. An evolving zombie threat is taking over everything, and you need to create a life for your community of survivors. The focus of the new adventure will be on creating emergent stories that will have a significant impact, as the deaths of characters who enter your group cannot be reversed. The creator also explained that the recent trailer was created from elements already in the game itself and rendered by the Unreal Engine 5. State of Decay 3 will be able to bring more weapon customization elements, which can even be created from materials scattered throughout the world. The game also promises enemies with more varied behaviors, new animations, and quality of life improvements. Echoes of the Living brings classic survival horror with fixed camera and even tank controls, the original commands of Resident Evil. The biggest difference in the indie title is that the graphics are modern, but with environments still inspired by Capcom classics. The game offers two protagonists, each with their initial equipment and stories, Laurel and Liam. The overall goal of both, as it should be, is to escape the chaos happening in a quiet town located in Europe in the year 1996. Bubblegum Zombie Hunter is a frantic shooting game with insane weapons and a variety of power-ups. The game takes place in Gloomhaven, where popular streamer Kaylee Boo33 and her sister Maddie West face a wave of terrible monsters. The city is in despair, and Kaylee needs to run and shoot to complete tasks and solve dangerous puzzles. Additionally, there is something sinister hidden beneath the city's cute appearance. You will face zombies in 10 levels, using absurd weapons and power-ups. Your goal is to survive while facing a variety of relentless enemies. Each time you are defeated, you will lose a life, but you can still save your loot if you have lives remaining.
It's time to kick ass and shoot bubblegum. And I'm all out of gum. Whoa! Mr. Crawley? You don't look so hot! A freaking laser? Awesome! Spread
Ill is a new first-person survival horror game developed in Unreal Engine 5 that has garnered attention for its brutality and cutting-edge visuals. Described as a narrative-focused first-person survival horror game, Ill will take players to a small town with the goal of uncovering the truth behind the bloody madness that occurred. To survive, it will be important to adapt against monstrous creatures, make use of various strategies, search for vital supplies, create essential tools, and upgrade your weaponry. Ill promises to be an extremely violent game. The developers state that they aim to elevate the level of body horror, not shying away from showing viscera and realistic dismemberments. The Midnight Walkers is a first-person survival game with a zombie theme, developed by One Way Ticket Studio. The setting takes place in the Liberty Grand Center, an isolated building where players face not only zombies but also other survivors. The action unfolds in a building, providing a different experience from flat battlegrounds. The vertical limitation and restricted visibility create fresh and unique tension. The Liberty Grand Center features 20 floors including a hospital, offices, mall, parking lot, and gym. Each match randomly selects 8 floors as battlegrounds. Use a variety of weapons to face zombies and other players. From easy-to-handle weapons to those with a high impact, there is a diverse arsenal in the game. Dread Dawn is an open-world survival game with a zombie theme, developed and published by Kayop. The story is set in a city under quarantine due to an unknown virus. You take on the role of a student who failed to escape with the evacuation convoy and must now survive in the city. As a modern metropolis, the city is fully equipped with public facilities, including hospitals, subway stations, prisons, and schools, where the population density is very high. While exploring the city, you must always be aware of the lurking dangers around you. Nakwon Last Paradise is a survival and extraction shooting game themed around surviving the zombie apocalypse in areas of South Korea. Given the game's genre, you can already imagine what to expect. Plenty of action-packed gameplay that brings a mix of PvPvE with players battling each other while defeating zombies along the way. During your raids, you must head to the only location where resources are still available to the population, but as you might imagine, the competition is fierce, ensuring battles against other players. Therefore, the gameplay of Nakwon Last Paradise blends games like The Division and DayZ, but also brings the extraction mechanic, like Hunt Showdown or Escape from Tarkov, search for resources, but survive to escape with them. Ghost Shadow is a first-person shooter game that combines elements of horror, puzzles, and steampunk aesthetics. The protagonist, Jason, is an invincible cyborg who doesn't know his own origin. He must collect all parts of his mind to find answers, and escape from a ghostly trap in his own mind. The game has 2 worlds. In the first, the action takes place in various solar systems, where there are planets suitable for life or that contain useful resources. There are also autonomous space bases. In the second, it takes place in Jason's dreams. In this reality, time passes more slowly than in the universe's reality. Here, Jason receives hints about his past. These hints help him remember why he died before. There are 6 dream levels, all levels available. The user can choose any level to pass.
I can feel the vibration, feet in the street.
Nobody's Left is a new and promising Iranian survival game developed by a single person, which has been attracting attention on the internet in recent months. The developer, Mad Rain Studio, does not deny the inspiration from The Last of Us. However, director Mo Kakzad not only mentions the Naughty Dog game as inspiration, but also The Division, Red Dead Redemption, and Inside. The game will be set in a country full of wars contaminated with chemical elements, which made much of its land uninhabitable. This chaos spread and factions were formed. In the story, players will take on the role of a bounty hunter who ends up caught in the middle of the war between two major existing factions. Now he will have to do everything to survive. The Parasites is an open-world survival game set after the fall of a giant meteorite. You are one of the few survivors and need to fight against alien parasites that have invaded Earth. After the meteorite impact, you must explore the world, build shelters, upgrade your character, and create weapons to hunt and defend yourself. The parasites not only attack your flesh, but also destroy your clothes. Gameplay involves collecting resources, fighting the parasites, and solving puzzles to progress in the story and discover the origin of the parasites. Pioneer is a new MMO shooter in the style of Metro and Stalker, with plenty of action and exploration. Overall, we can say that the game will have a unique touch, as it will blend elements from various genres and should position itself as a good option for those who enjoy MMORPGs, survival experiences, and the famous extraction shooters. In Pioneer, you play as a former agent surviving in a world after a technological disaster, an isolated Soviet island from the mainland, due to a large-scale technogenic anomaly. So now you have two main objectives: to find and rescue your comrades, and investigate the mystical station Mogilnik. The further you advance into the island, the more dangerous the environment will become. The game's archipelago is undergoing a transformation. Operation Deadman is a zombie survival horror game focused on story, both in single-player and cooperative mode. The plot is set in an alternate timeline, dating back to the 2020 lockdown. The world was hit by a deadly infection that quickly spread, leading to a chaotic scenario. Players explore large maps globally affected by the mutant virus, seeking weapons, equipment, and customization. You, as a player, will become a true veteran of humanity's fall. As the story unfolds, your environment will visually decay into a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Nothing will remain except a faint glimpse of life and your tactical combat skills. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl is a first-person survival horror and shooter game developed and published by the Ukrainian developer GSC Game World. Stalker 2 promises an immersive experience in a post-apocalyptic environment full of mysteries, dangers, and supernatural creatures. Players will be taken back to the Zone, a region affected by disasters where unexplainable phenomena occur after a second nuclear disaster in Chernobyl. The game will offer a vast and detailed open world where players can freely explore, interact with rival factions, make decisions that will affect the narrative, and face survival challenges in a hostile environment. With a dark and engaging atmosphere, the game aims to keep players glued to the screen as they unravel the secrets of the Zone and fight for survival in a world full of dangers and mysteries.
Door! Open
the door! I've got nowhere to go back to, Herman.
As a bonus, I bring you Into the Dead: Our Darkest Days, described as a new 2D zombie survival game set in Texas in the year 1980. With the outbreak in action, you must seek resources and survive at all costs. The city of Walton City in Texas becomes the epicenter of a zombie outbreak that puts humanity on the brink. With society collapsing and zombies dominating the streets, surviving each new day becomes an increasingly challenging task. The game invites players to experience a delicate balance between resource gathering, evading the undead, and protecting a growing group of survivors. In a side-scrolling adventure, Into the Dead: Our Darkest Days blends the tension of survival horror with complex resource management and crafting systems. This was the list. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.